Yeah.
All right, so we are officially live, and I would like to take this a minute to say and welcome everybody on the live video. Welcome all to Trinidad and Tobago. Welcome to all of our viewers wherever you are looking at us right now from. Good evening to East Trinidad and Tobago. And for any of
I know
you
how to fix
watching
it.
this
I'll get it
broadcast
mic for
right
myself.
now, whether it is from the comfort of behind your telephone or television or computer screen, or whether it is from across the road on Hollis Avenue where we are situated, you may be noticing a difference, and the difference is we do not have the hundreds of people, thousands of people that we would have had last week at Baraka Ground, and the week before that in outside Woodford Square, and 2 weeks before that when we would have poured outpoured on the streets of Port Spain on the last night of the 9-night candlelight vigil that we held for Andrea Barras and other women that we have lost or who have gone missing in Trinidad and Tobago. So we have seen a lot. We have not made this a grand public meeting due to the COVID-19 regulations, due to the fact that there were spike in COVID-19 cases, so we did not invite the general public to come join us this evening. But we changed the program a little bit to carry it across as a live broadcast here in Arima in the east. We were in north, we were in central, now we are in the east. The candlelight movement has come to the east. And we've also made it an opportunity for people to come and sign as well as return petition packages. So for those of you who have been waiting for the candlelight movement team to come to the east, let me start by saying thank you so very much for what you guys have made this movement into in the past month. Thank you for a month and a half. Thank you so much for taking the time and the effort. As much as we did not have a public meeting and we did not advertise this as a public meeting today, we still had swarms of people coming to sign and get their t-shirts. These t-shirts which should be here quite shortly. So for those who came to purchase their t-shirts, you can get that very soon. We will be by the gate next to where the petition signing and return is happening. So for those who came here to do that, we're definitely here to facilitate you. But I want to talk a little bit more about this movement, why it started, and what drove us to be here today. We are in Arima, not too far from Aripo, where the body of Andrea was found, and I think it's very unfortunate that we could not have a big meeting tonight because I know the crowd in the room, I know the crowd in the east was going to pour out into the streets. I knew tonight if we did not have those COVID-19 regulations, we would have had to block Hollis Avenue due to the outpouring of support, due to the outpouring of people who would have blocked the street in its entirety because Arima and environs, just like the rest of Trinidad and Tobago, felt the intense, the distressing pain and hurt that we all nation felt when we discovered that Andrea Barrett was no longer with us and that despite all of our hopes and prayers and best wishes that she would not be returning home to her dad and a nation would be sent into mourning like we have been for the past 40 something odd days. From her death to something beautiful was born, a movement was started, a spark, a flame was ignited, and a literal and a metaphorical flame. Because on the 4th of February, one of the leaders of the Candlelight movement, one of the committee members, Mr. Philip Alexander, lit that first candle. And we always talk about that first candle and the symbolism of it. But for those who don't know the story, that first candle, that literal first candle, was the start of a movement that has taken us to where we are today. That first candle, I believe, was symbolic of the tipping point for Trinidad because we have experienced crime in our nation before. We have experienced murdered women before. But there was something about this particular incident that made Trinidad and Tobago stop and say, enough is enough. I don't know if it's because it followed the in close proximity to the death of Ashanti Riley. I don't know if it's because of the innocence of this young woman, Andrea. I don't know if it's because we as Trinbagonians have finally reached to the point that we are just over being complacent about crime and our women and children being killed and being trafficked. I don't know if everything just lined up, but out of that very tragic incident birthed the Candlelight movement and it birthed a national unity that has never been experienced before like this in Trinidad and Tobago. It's never been experienced like this before internationally because as much as we have Trinbagonians who are very much in tune and wanting to take a stand for what is happening right now in our country, so too we have our foreign Trinbagonians who are not even residing in Trinidad and Tobago, but who are also expressing a deep and immense wish to be a part of this growing national unity that has formed Trinbagonians uniting on a common cause, which is the safety and the protection of our women. And in the middle of my speech, I just want to take a second to shout out the two people across the road in their beach chairs right now who are totally observing social distancing, but who, despite the fact that we closed to the public this evening, still came out to be a part of this. You all are true warriors, and I know they're more like you. I'm seeing you across the road. I'm seeing you by the gate. I'm seeing you coming to sign the petition. And you guys make this movement what it is. You are the fire. Philip said the first flame. You all are the flames that continue to burn, that continue to keep this issue alive in the public. And I think that is what is most important, that we keep this issue alive. The fact that this happened, we found on February the 4th, and today is March the 19th. We are still very much hot on the issue. We still have groups marching on the issue. We have this Candlelight petition going out to thousands and hundreds of thousands of people to sign. It tells a story that we as Trinbagonians are really ready to stand up for an issue, and we're really ready to stand up against crime that has ravaged our country. And the fact that you are here tonight, the fact that we have so many people reaching out to be a part of this movement, tells a very important story. And as much as we have scaled down, I would like to let the public know, those viewing on the live as well as those here in person. Yes, you can come tonight to collect your petition packages. Yes, you can come tonight to sign your petition yourself. Yes, tonight you can come to return your signed packages. And yes, you can purchase your Candlelight paraphernalia, merchandise, polos, etc. here. The only thing we are asking is if you can please abide by the COVID-19 social distancing rules. We have kept this meeting under 10 people on this compound for a reason. We want to stay within the law. We want to abide by the suggestions and recommendations of the police commissioner who is upholding the law as made by the Ministry of Health and the Minister of Health. So please, when you are coming, we have persons with clipboards. Don't linger. Unfortunately, this is not a night where we can sit down and or stand up and mingle with each other. You will have to keep it moving, but at the same time, we are here to facilitate you as much as possible. In wrapping up my portion of this intro and welcome speech, I just want to say that as much as this is the situation for us going forward, we are still going to open, well, we're still going to facilitate you as Trinbagonians, those who want to see us. So we're actually discussing having pop-up events in malls, etc. So next week, Saturday, next week we want to go to San Fernando. For those who have been waiting eagerly for us to come to San Fernando, we are coming to San Fernando to do something similar to what we did here today, maybe not the live a broadcast or maybe not a meeting, but it will definitely be a place where you can come and sign, get your petition packages, return your petition packages, and of course, meet the dynamic team, the leadership, the committee members behind the Candlelight movement. Because we understand that as much as this is COVID-19, as much as this is a different world, as much as this is a different time, we are still holding on and we are still not letting go of this very important issue, which is safeguarding our women in Trinidad and Tobago. Somebody asked me this week on an interview if this was going to turn into a political party. It's a question we've been hearing a lot, and I told her, why should this need to turn into a political party? Look at what we're doing, and we're not even a formed political party. Look at what we're doing, and we're not even in government. Look at what we're doing, and we don't have the power of cabinet. All that we're doing right now is people powered, 100% of it. People powered. I often hear the question, what does my voice do? How does my opinion matter? It does. This movement has proven to us that every single voice in this country matters. And I know we have felt for years and time again that our voices did not matter. We have felt that on important issues like crime and safeguarding our women and children, we have felt as if our pleas were falling on deaf ears. But what we have observed in the past few weeks since the Candlelight movement was formed, what we have observed since this petition, this national petition has taken root, since it has gone to Tobago, since it has gone to Central, since it has gone to South, since we came to East, since it was launched, what we have observed in Canada, in New York, in the UK, what we have observed is that Trinbagonians are finally understanding just how powerful we are. And I say we because I include myself. I too felt as if my voice did not matter, but standing up 1.4 million strong, you get to realize just how powerful we are. The fact that we are putting this pressure on the government, the fact that we are managing to keep this pressure on the government to implement and pass laws that is going to make women in our country feel safer. It tells a story, and it tells a story of a nation whose strength we didn't realize before, but we're stronger than we could have ever imagined. And this Candlelight movement, I want to say it started here, but it doesn't stop here. It started here, and of course, we're going to push and push and push until these 5 things happen. But after that, once Trinbagonians have tasted what them being actively involved in their own democracy can do, I hope to see even greater things come as it come out of this as a country. I hope to see us holding our government accountable. I hope to see us fighting and pushing on issues of national importance. I hope to see us holding on to issues and not just letting it fade away into the dust. The lady came tonight to sign the petition and she showed me pictures of her nephew and her cousin and who was murdered, who were murdered. And the thing is, the country has forgotten about them. The same way she would remember, the same way all of us need to never forget those who we have lost, so that we will always remember to never lose another one again. I would like to thank you for those who came out tonight. I would like to thank all of you who are playing an active role in this Candlelight movement, whether it's small or big. Your signature, that one signature, you have no idea, it matters. It adds up. And I would like to thank you for doing your part in bringing about the much needed change that we need in this country. I do hope that you enjoy the rest of the program. Tonight, we do have a list of dynamic speakers, some of the committee members from the Candlelight movement, and I'm very pleased to introduce the next speaker, which is Jody Mohammed, who's going to come on and flow from where I left off. Welcome to the stage, Jody Mohammed.
Good night, everyone. And of course, thank you across there. It's nice to see that you're all actually out here tonight. I know it's very difficult. By the way, my name is Jody Mohammed. Some of you may already know me. I'm a radio personality, and I'm also part of the Candlelight movement. And very, very happy to be part of something like this. Something that, just coming together and standing with other people and fighting for our country. How do you feel recently when you saw the headlines where Adina was killed? When I saw that, my heart broke. The headline was, "Daddy's killing mommy." How many more stories like that do we want to read about? How many more women must we lose in this country before something is done? We as a people, when we come together, we can do so much. I always say this, and I will continue to say this: where there is unity, there is strength. And once we keep coming together, we as a people, we can make things happen. It is about time that we see change. How do you feel knowing that you're out here tonight, you have to get public transportation? You are wondering to yourself, will I get home safely? How do I know I'm getting into the right taxi? How can I trust this person? But sometimes you have no choice. There are very few cars you can take to get home, especially depending on the area you are going, but you feel unsafe inside. You are currently looking outside, looking at the person next to you. You're looking at who's there, because you are afraid. Why do we have to live in a country like this, in a beautiful country like Trinidad and Tobago, and feel so unsafe? That is not right. That must end, because we have to make sure that we continue to come together. We get these petitions signed, and I promise you it will make a difference. Every single signature counts. And I've said this before, and I will say it again. Why does one signature matter? If everyone says that, then we would not have any signatures, and how could we make that difference? But if it is that the government is seeing that we are coming together, right, and that we actually want change, we as a people, we can make that difference. It is really, really sad. I mean, every day, all these stories for years and years and years. This is not something that happened overnight. This is something that has been happening for years and years. People have been suffering. So many people murdered, so many people killed. This system it's a failing system. That is why it is continuing to happen and nothing is being done. We have to continue living in fear, because you know why? The government is not working. This system is a complete failure, and we have to make sure that we see, we get justice, and we make sure there is change in time, because we cannot live like this. We have children, we have sisters, we have mothers, we have friends. How it is, we can't just take a drive out at night, go somewhere, you want to go sit in the park, you want to sit, you just want to take your kids out. We can't do that. Why we can't do that? We should be able to do that in this country. But no, those things are not possible. Children, how many children have you read about that, went to the shop, didn't return home? Your sister took a taxi, your aunt took a taxi, never made it home, they never found the body. How many more lives are we willing to lose before we stand up? No, we have to stand now. This is a fight that we have to keep fighting. And only when we keep fighting, then we will see change. And I will keep saying that, because you cannot say I'm not going to sign a petition, this is not going to make a difference. It is. We have to continue to come together, because we want a safer place, not only for ourselves, but for everyone. Everyone needs to feel safe. We are citizens of this country, and we have to feel happy if we walk outside. Why it is we can't take a walk outside? Why it is so unsafe when people see you walking outside and look at you and be like, I said this some time ago, is that person crazy? But in other countries, it's okay. So why is it not okay in Trinidad to take a walk outside and feel safe? So this is why we are asking for these things to be changed, for us to be able to have pepper spray. Unfortunately, it is really sad to know that you cannot leave the house, with just like that, especially when you have to take a taxi. So if we have pepper spray, I'm just saying it could make a difference. People are saying that pepper spray, it may not make a difference, but here's what, we could save a few lives. If someone's attacking you, I'm just saying, and you have that available to you, that could make a difference. You can use it, it can do something. So this is why we need better laws in this country to protect our people. I am sure each and every one of you have faced something. Sometimes you're being close to getting robbed, or you've seen it. You've seen people being attacked. I've seen it happen. I remember once walking somewhere, and this young boy just ran up to this woman and grabbed her handbag, and ran with it. Why does we have to live in a country like that? Imagine that you can't even just walk outside feeling safe, holding your cell phone in your hand, your handbag. You have to be so worried about everything. You have to be worried where you park your car. You cannot take your kids outside. You have to worry about all of this. We should not have to live in a country like that. Trinidad is too small for us to have to deal with all these things. We need change. And that is why this petition is out, to continue to pressure the government to make sure that we get these laws passed, because it is going to protect everyone. It's not just for us. It's not just about the committee members on the Candlelight movement. It is for every person. I am part of this team because I want a safer country, not only for my kids and for my family, but for everyone. And this is why we are here. And we came together because we want to have a safer country for our citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, because we care. We care about you all. We are out here tonight. We will be in South next week. We were at Barraca Grounds. We're in Port of Spain. Everyone has lives. Everyone has families. But we are out here because we want you all to know that we are here to stand up for you all. So many women out with so many different stories every day. People are so worried. I have a matter in court. I'm afraid to go out. I was attacked. I was raped. I was robbed. Nothing is being done. We live in fear. How do you feel about that? No, we need some sort of change. We can't continue to live in fear. We need a proper working system in this country. And that is only when we will feel a little safer. How many women walk around every day? They have a protection order or somebody attacked them. If you all hear all these stories, sometimes I'm listening to these stories, women talking about being raped, being stabbed, and the person is out there walking around freely. These people passing you on the streets every day, you might work with them, you don't even know. And these women are going through this. We need to protect our women. Women have always been the targets, and we continue to be the targets. Why? Why is that? Why is it after government, nobody has done anything to protect us? We are the people that put them there. And why are they not protecting us? Why do we have to come out and fight and get petitions signed? We are basically doing their job for them because we are out here, we are fighting and asking for better laws when they are sitting there and no one is doing anything for us. So it is time we wake up and realize what is going on in this country. What are we doing? No one is protecting us. No one is protecting our families. So this is why we have to continue to come together and do what is right. Make sure you get your signatures on that petition. Make sure everyone signs that petition. Your signature matters. You as a citizen of this country, you matter. We care about you. And that is why we came together, because we want to continue to fight to make sure that we have a safer country for each and every one of us. I want in time that women could walk outside, children could walk outside at night. We could take a walk. You know, you could sit outside and don't have to worry if somebody is coming behind you. Somebody may attack you. Why do we live in fear? You're always looking over your shoulders. It's a constant thing of fear. You go out, you park somewhere, you're worried because you're looking around to see who may be looking at you. You have to put you make sure you put your bag, you're hiding your bags, you can't leave anything on these seats. Why is this? Why do we have to live in a country like this? Every day I ask myself this, and nothing is being done. Every day we just read stories, people lose their lives, people lose their kids, and nothing happens. It's just an old story. That's what it becomes. And nothing is being done. These matters are in court year after year. The system doesn't deal with it. Sometimes they throw out these cases, and these women are walking around in fear. And you know what is so sad? That they wait for actually something to happen before they do something. You go to the station, you tell them what happened. Sometimes the officers, they would, oh, that's very important that I must tell you guys this. When you go to a station and you make a report, it is your right to receive a receipt from that officer. Sometimes you ask for it and they don't want to give it to you, but you have to demand that because that is very important. You need to protect you. If someone comes and attacks you or does something, or maybe it's your husband or your partner, whoever it is, and that person is attacking you, you have to make sure and have some sort of proof that something happened. It may seem like it's just a piece of paper, but you know what? Unfortunately, this is how it is in this country, and you need it. It is very important. So just make sure if you have to make a report, you demand that receipt. As women, you have to do what is right. Sometimes you may feel, I don't want to get that. It's just a piece of paper. It's not going to do anything for me. But it is very important that you have that so you can show in case anything happens to you. We have to keep doing these things. You have to do this. We have to keep fighting. Unfortunately, this is the way the law works in Trinidad. It is, I don't even know how to describe it. It is very unfortunate that women especially have to go through this. And the police, they're not doing their job. The government, they're not doing their job. And this is why we are here. And we have come together because we want to fight. We want to fight for you all. And we want to help, like I said, to make Trinidad and Tobago a safer and happier place for each and every one of us. So, like I said, I know a lot of people wanted to come out tonight. Unfortunately, we couldn't have a gathering due to COVID-19. But to those of you who came out and have been signing the petition, we are very grateful. And I hope even if you would like to take a package as well, we have them available. So if you would like it, you just come inside. They will give you one. You just have to sign for it. And of course, you can take it to your offices, take it wherever you have to. And we are grateful. I met a couple of people this week. They told me they've been, going everywhere, all over Trinidad and Tobago. Because just like us, they are citizens of this country, and they care, and they are fighting just like us because we want a safer place. It is unfortunate that we have to beg our own government to have a safer place for us, but it is what it is, and we have to continue the fight. And I am grateful for each and every one of you for signing that petition and even for coming out here tonight. Thank you very much.
Okay, So I'm speaking to the people on the live video, and I know that we're going to have difficulties. All of our infrastructure is set up for public meetings. Satish is doing the best that he could with the audio. If you're not getting sufficient audio, even with my big booming voice, jack it into something and turn it up. We have a strong lineup of speakers tonight. I have been pressed into duty as an MC of sorts. We will be having Stephen Rees, Avanel Hector, Candice Barrett. We also have family members, survivors of the hateful killing the last two speakers spoke about, and both Felicia and Jody mentioned that people have asked, what's the power of my voice? Well, I want to tell them, I could speak for myself, and my voice has changed many things in this country. And what we need is every citizen of Trinidad and Tobago to learn the power of their own voices, and do not be afraid to stand up and speak out on issues that affect you. The day we get to be a people who understand our role in this democracy, the day we get to be a people that have no fear, that will stand up and speak out on any issue, the people that we hire and put in the parliament to operate and manage this country will do their jobs. I'll deal with more of that later when I am speaking. Right now, I'd like to introduce young attorney Richard Jagasa, who is going to be making a contribution. He made a contribution in Baraka grounds, and we were very impressed, and we invited him back to come and join with us. Richard.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, and good night, good evening. Welcome to all of the tens of thousands and hundreds of thousands of viewers that we have locked in on the airwaves tonight. Welcome, good night. I want to say special thank you to the speakers that came before me, Jody and Ms. Holder. I want to say special thank you to the members of the Candlelight movement, the special executive that had a roundtable discussion on Facebook. I thank Philip and his team for that. I want to say special thank you to Candice Barrett, who is not only the PRO of this movement, but also volunteered and was the presiding officer of the Law Association's annual election today. Thank you for your service. I want to say thank you to Inshan, because as always, this week he had his Breaking Barriers show, and I understand that he spent some time with Daddy Barrett, and I understand Daddy Barrett cut his tail in pool a few times. And I say all of this to make the point to you that these are the things that these men and women do to keep this issue alive, to keep this issue a real issue, separate and apart from these meetings. And they do that because they recognize that this is what the country needs right now. You see, my brothers and sisters, we live in perilous times. We live in times when our mothers, our sisters, and our daughters can't even leave their homes without fear. They slaughter our loved ones without fear and without favor. Just this week, a mother of three was shot and killed in Laventille. Will the bloodshed ever end? The blood of our loved ones cry out from the earth, and our souls ache with them. These are truly sad times. It is every citizen's right, every citizen's constitutional right to enjoy life, liberty, and freedom. In fact, it is hereby recognized and declared in Trinidad and Tobago that as a fundamental human right, the right of the individual to enjoy individual life, liberty, and security. Section 4A of the Constitution, my brothers and sisters. Yet we the people live in fear. That is not liberty, that is loss. We the people live in agony. That is not security, that is sadness. We the people cannot bear it for any longer. We will not stand for it any longer. And we call for the protection of this government. The protection offered in laws such as the Domestic Violence Act. Because it says that every police officer who receives a call of domestic violence shall respond. That means it doesn't matter if it is your sister, your brother, your mother, your father, or even your neighbor. If you call the police, they have to respond. And when they respond, it shall be the duty. This is what the law says. It shall be the duty of the police officer responding to fill out a Form 7. And that Form 7 shall be used to maintain a national domestic violence registry. And this is important. This is important, my brothers and sisters, because I have searched high and low, and there is no domestic violence registry. There is none to speak of. The Form 7, my brothers and sisters, is the prescribed Form 7 given in the Act. It is in the law. This is what it looks like. And it's important. It's important to fill out this Form 7 when you call somebody for domestic violence. It's important that the police fill it out because this is what they ought to use to prepare the domestic violence registry. So even though this is law, even though this is in the Act, it is not the same thing as the police officer making a note in his pocket diary. It is not the same thing as an entry in the station diary. It is certainly not the same thing as any other prescribed form in any other law. It is the Form 7 used for the preparation of the National Domestic Violence Registry. And even though this is in the Act, even though this is public information, tonight I'm going to give a copy to Philip, and I'm going to give a copy to Inshan, and I ask that they post it on all of their social media pages so that you, the victim, should you ever need it, it's accessible to you. And why is this form important? Like I said, it's important because it informs, it ought to inform the Domestic Violence Registry. And I make this point because we are also talking to you about the Sexual Offences Registry. And my brothers and sisters, again, I have searched high and low, and I have not found the Sexual Offences Registry. The Sexual Offences Registry law is almost 2 years old, and there is no registry. The Domestic Violence Law, the Domestic Violence Act, was passed in 1999 and is more than 20 years old. I make this point because I don't want 20 plus years from now, my daughter stands on a platform like this and is still asking for the implementation of the Domestic Violence Registry. I don't want 20 years from now, she is still asking for the Sexual Offences Registry to be implemented. I want it now. We the people want it now. We want it implemented now. We want it as law enforced now. Because while we ask for the amendment of some laws, we also ask for the implementation of others. And listen, I understand from the police's perspective as well. In fact, Dana Sitahal said it best in an article she wrote in 2011, titled "Damned If You Do, Damned If You Don't." She was referring to police officers who sometimes take reports, take a matter to court, and the victim is forced to drop the matter because for financial reasons or because of fear or whatever the case may be. She's forced to drop the matter. And of course, the police therefore then waste their time. And in the alternative, some police officers who obey the law and try and enforce it, or rather don't try and enforce it, we consider them bad officers because we see that they don't enforce the law. So again, Sitahal was right, they're damned if they do and damned if they don't. But my brothers and sisters, these are important registries. And I'll tell you why they're important. Because if your name shows up on the Domestic Violence Registry, if your name shows up on the sexual offences registry, you ought not to qualify for a certificate of good character. And that means you can't get a government contract. That means no CPEP contract for you, no highway paving contract for you. That means you can't get certain jobs, not even a security work. You see, the domestic violence registry will not discriminate. My brothers and sisters, wouldn't it be ideal for women to be able to check up on their loved ones, to check and see if he has a history of domestic violence before saying I do? And finally, these registries will inform the police. They will know in advance when they are responding to criminal offenses, when they're responding to scenes of criminal acts, who they are coming to deal with. Because the registry will tell them in advance if they're coming to deal with a predator, a sexual offender, a domestic violence, a woman beater, as the case may be. And they will be better prepared and they will be better able to respond on the scene. So they will be better equipped. And that is how you give them life, liberty, and security. Finally, tonight, I say that this Candlelight movement is bigger than any one person. It is bigger than any one incident. We stand here together today as the voice of all women, all victims in the past, and for all women in this country, to make this country great, to make this country safe. We stand here, and wherever this movement takes us, we shall go together as one family, united under God. We shall go together. I thank you.
Thank you, Richard. Good night, everyone. My name is Candice Barrett, and I am one of the members of the Candlelight movement. When the Candlelight movement was formed, we came together and we decided, every single one of the committee members, that something had to be done. Something had to be done so that there could be no more Andreas and Ashantis and Assamis and so many others that came before. One of the pivotal parts of what we do is bringing together families and putting faces to the victims, because when an article comes out and somebody's murdered or somebody's raped or somebody goes missing, that is an article in the newspaper, maybe for a day or a week. And then these women and the families who are affected are often forgotten. And every event that we've had families of victims come and tell their stories. And in telling their stories, every single family member gives me the conviction for what we are here for and what we are doing. Because it is more than Andrea, and it is more than Ashanti, and it is more than the numerous, countless, far too many victims that came before. Tonight we have one such family member. And when I heard his story, I immediately remember the face of his daughter. On the 3rd of August, 2018, Mariana Munesa was gunned down while she was with her father and she was on her way home. And they were just a stone's throw from the family's house. Her dad, Mr. Rupchan Munesa, was shot in the cheek and Mariana was shot in the head. Her dad is here with us tonight, and unfortunately, Mariana is not so lucky. And every single time I hear stories like that and hear about how deeply traumatized the members and the citizens of this country is, it reminds me that we absolutely cannot have any more. So without further ado, I'd like to ask Mr. Rupchan Munesa to come up and say a few words. I understand that despite the fact that for us, we may have forgotten the story, or it may have been a couple years ago, I know that there's not one moment in his life that he does not grieve for his daughter. So I'll ask him to come up and say a few words.
Good night, one and all. I might be a bit emotional, to speak here tonight, but my name is Robcha Morissa. With the royal chippy. My daughter, Mariana Morissa, is to work in the Parliament of Trinidad and Tobago. Real decent child. How she picture here, which I love a lot. She brother, she mother, and everybody. She was really loving, a real good person. On the 3rd of August 2018, I went to pick her up after work from the Parliament at Bufficking, Show Warners. On a jolly mood, she was driving and was coming home. And we was happy and jolly and talking to she because we's not bad people. I was a good dad. I work hard, very hard to mind that child, I educate she. I take care of my family. I never touch alcohol for 22 years. Never smoke, never drink, never do nothing wrong. I create something as a father to take care of his family. And on that evening, we was getting home. And before I used to swing to going to home, I just lone gone man. Just walk across by the car while she was slow down. Put a gun straight through by the glass and blow she head out. Cold blooded. Shot me in my face through every bullet stick. I feel no pain. Because I saw my daughter bleeding through she nose and she mouth. And she said, oh God, done when she get the blow. With my good mind trying to save my child, I take my hand and went down the accelerator, pick up the car to the east, not know where I heading. I was heading to a river. While I heading to the river, I raised up because I know I was on the bridge to home. And my hand, I hit the lever with my hand, and the car stopped. The car stopped. I came outside and bawled out for help. I say, I see some car passing. I tell the people, I say, listen, my daughter gets shot, and I need help to take you to the hospital. Some people refuse. Some people say blood will mess up the car. And my child was bleeding. A guy was coming. When I get blank that way, a guy was coming up, and I stop him. You know what trauma and pain? I goes, my heart bleed for Andrea father. I'm a father too, Mr. Barrett. My heart bleed for you because I know what you're going through. 2 years have passed and it's pain and suffering and just pain and pain every night. The family can't sleep, we cannot rest no love in the house because these people just take away something that is loving and kindness for nothing. For nothing, destroy my home. For nothing. They just take my baby for nothing. So I couldn't imagine what your father going through. On that day, that dreaded day, I tried to save she. As a dad, I have love in my heart. I try to save she. When the guy who come to take up the stuff to help me, he torture and pain these people make me go through. I have to take my car trunk cover with board. The man say car will messed up. The lady wagon had to spread that. Take my child out the seatbelt, lift she in my arms as a father. Alone. Nobody had touched she. She was bleeding. They afraid the blood. And I creeped she on my shoulder and my back. And I dragged she into the lady wagon. Went to the hospital. I said, Marina, don't die on daddy. Don't die. Please don't die on daddy. I lie down next to she with a bullet in my neck. And I don't even know. I didn't feel no pain. No, I feel in pain. Because I miss my baby. Because they take she away. At that moment, the pain wasn't there. Because I want to save she. I stayed in the hospital with she at Coover. I ride the ambulance. The bravery and the thing as a dad to see your daughter alive. I still wanted she to live. Ride the ambulance, go down San Fernando in the hospital. When I went there, 20 to 9, the doctor come out and tell me, he said, your daughter died. You know what is pain? You know what is pain in this country? You know what is pain? Justice have to be solved. This Candlelight move, I've blessed the people. I've blessed the nation who support this. So justice will come to us and let us live free again. Innocent people getting killed for nothing. Innocent people. That's what happening in this country right now. That's what happened to this dad, Andrea, for all the victims, father and parents. People just don't know. They just know his pain and suffering. I bless you all here in Arima. I bless the people taking care of us, not trying, but just in this country. I love you people. Yeah, I love these people around here. These loving and kind people. I thank you all. This is what I say. I lost my child, but all these good people trying to make us survive again, so other people won't get hurt. I thank you all and God bless you all.
I want to say before I start speaking that in this movement, different members have found a deeper purpose. And Candice Barrett has found her own outreach. She is seeking out every victim and she is bringing them to get a voice so that they could have a voice. Before we hear his story and all like him, Candice hears it. And I want to tell Candice, you're doing an amazing job at that. Thank you for that. I am a father, and I know to say that my heart broke hearing his story. Can't do nothing for him. But I only hope that he broke your heart too. I hope that he broke the hearts of everyone listening and makes them realize. I said on the first night of what became a vigil, I said, daddies, go and hug your daughters. Go hug them. Go and thank God that this gentleman's story is not your story. There is nothing I wouldn't do to take his pain away. Every time I meet the surviving parents of children snatched away by violence, and we're talking nonsense still in the parliament. They have us so stupid. They have us so foolish in this country that they're serving us the most disgusting lives. Nobody in Trinidad and Tobago happy. And if they tell you they're happy, I tell you they lie. That's why we have the highest counts of alcoholism in the Western world. And we snorting and smoking and injecting and sticking and sniffing anything we could get. Because life in Trinidad is shit. Because we have 41 shittongs in our parliament. 41 shittongs full of shit. Not one human, decent person in that parliament. And they could sue me till they run out of lawyers. I here in this country for a mission. God put me here for that. I hugged this man tonight and felt his sobs. I wish, I pray tonight that his tears and his pain and Ruth pain and Daddy Barrett pain and Candace Riley, I hope their tears and the pain that they feel haunts every member of that parliament for the rest of their lives. To the people who talking nonsense, or the prime minister can't fix it, hush. If you don't understand what the parliament is for, hush. If you don't understand what a government is for, hush, I will teach you. The government work, the prime minister work. If the drain flooding, the prime minister failing. If the street dirty, the prime minister failing. If the price of food too high, the prime minister failing. All of that is the work. You can't get water in your pipe, the prime minister failing. We can't get vaccine for our people, the prime minister failing. And if the opposition leader don't stand up and talk, fire she too. Listen, we done gone beyond reality in this country, you know. A lawyer had to come here tonight and tell you how this country is supposed to work. A young lawyer, straight out of law school. I love him bad. I love people who find themselves and want to give back to strangers that they don't know. When he comes here to talk, he puts himself at risk to big briefs and big chambers and big contracts. This is a dirty and nasty country. We, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, have to stop supporting people who only lives work is to get rich. I read today that the sheep spends their life fearing the wolf, and it's the shepherd that has come and eat them. We, all of you who are braving every risk and every chance to come out here, I want to tell you something. You are the future of Trinidad and Tobago. It is you, to the people who are watching these live videos. I know it's not easy to take. I know I am the one who have to say it every day. I know it's not easy to hear. But Christ, if we had done something, this man's child would be alive. How much more? How much more stunt we could stunt? How much more like you could like? How much more friend you could friend? How much more? Before you realize that at some point you too will get old and dry up and dead. What it was for? And what you're leaving behind. It angers me that this is what passes for the most blessed and beautiful country in the world. When God made Trinidad and Tobago, this little country, he gave it more than he gave any other country in the world. Trinidad has things that no other country has, nowhere. It is why China had to come and bribe stink and dirty politicians and thief with Pitch Lake. It is why we live in a country where we have total and complete incompetence in the parliament. We get more rain in this country than we could use. And we've designed a water system to throw it in the sea. So to say we have no water. So some ex-politicians build a desalinating plant and selling desalinated water to we. The parliament tell we It's important for Point Lisas. Everything in Point Lisas closed down. But the government renewed the contract for the next 35 years. We paid $500 million to desalinate water and throw that in the sea too. You see we mad? You see we have to be mad? And I am sorry, because I have run out of patience. I say to people, when it bites you, you just find me. When you call me on the phone, because they just send me the messages and I know they reach their wits' end, they have nobody to turn to. Mr. Philip, help we. I am not the government. The morons that you voted for, you have to go to them. I have had to tell a woman in Price Smart car park, I asked her, I said, ma'am, who did you vote for? She said with pride, Dr. Rowley. I said, go Balize house with that begging. Go Balize house. Because Trinidad is too blessed. It is too blessed. We could grow more food than we could eat. Up until the 70s, this country was a net food exporter. But Eric Williams wanted to divide the nation so that they could divide and rule. That's what is going on. When you hear in African and Indian politics in Trinidad and Tobago, in this dot in the ocean, I want you to tell me where else on planet Earth Africans and Indians at war? Where else on planet Earth do Africans and Indians not get along? Gandhi as a lawyer, I'll do it this time, you know. Gandhi as a lawyer, his first activism was in South Africa. Come and talk, brother. Come and talk. Come and talk. Let's talk truth. Let's talk truth. Wherever you're going home to tonight, you don't have teeth in your mouth, you don't have anywhere you could go. Wherever you're going to, they have nowhere for you to get help. In this country, the politicians ride your back. Everybody wants to come and tell you what they're vexed for, but we can't organize yet a nation that loves the country so much that they stand up for each other and protect each other's children. I grew up in a country where we used to love one another, Trinidad and Tobago. I don't know what happened to that country, but if we don't get it back, all in danger. All are we in danger. Everybody, business closing down, bank coming for your house, landlord throwing you out. Who you going to? Who you going to? Wait and see for the next 3 months, the next 6 months, all of them inside of there, farting through silk. Come and see what this country will be like in 6 months. Next budget. And they're afraid. They want to do everything in their power to stop us from speaking. They want to do everything in their power to silence us. They send the CMO to say the Candlelight Vigil, where the people social distancing, causing a spike in COVID. But election campaign, when people was winding up in one another face, saying, you know, spike. You ready to be vigilant then? We have a responsibility to this country. We have a responsibility to each other. We either stand together and rescue Trinidad and Tobago or get accustomed to the kind of suffering you see them Venezuelans and Nigerians and the Haitians and the other countries that run here in poverty and suffering to run and hide. Get accustomed to that. Well, they ain't know it yet. Well, they ain't know it yet. They don't have a plan in that parliament today. All they're passing is law after law after law, how to lock up people. Not one law I hear yet how to make this country better. We, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, have to realize that when you tell me, don't make this political, well, I don't know what to tell you, because it is politics. It is failed politics that resulted in all of these children's deaths. It is failed politics that caused that. They cut the police budget this year. They cut the police budget. They're spending money on things we don't need, but cut the police budget and expect the police to do magic. We're building an overpass in Diego Martin that nobody want, nobody asks for, nobody need, nobody understand, but it is a way to thief money. Because when they build them big projects, it is a way to thief money. And if you bring in an international quantity surveyor to Trinidad and Tobago to look at every project they ever build, they will tell you overpriced 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. And that's your money. And that's the money that would have made your life better and protect this country and put proper systems in place so that our women could have walked the streets in safety without concern, and our men would have gotten a proper education, a proper upbringing. There would have been no nonsense politics filling people's head with stupidness. People would have been walking around this country understanding hope and opportunity and a better way for all of us. But that's not what we have. What we have is a nation of people unhappy, miserable, sad, angry, preying on each other. All of this that's going on. Sane people, decent people can't go and pick up nobody's daughter and take her and rape her and kill her or human traffic her. We closed the case on Asami Nagakia today. Case closed. The man dead. That was convenient. That was extremely convenient. But you know what? We're accustomed getting no information. I would honestly like what linked him to the case to be made public so we know. I want to hear that the man who say that the fella who killed Asami was missing a tooth from the bite on her cheek, tell me his mouth matched that, and I will accept that. Let's pay attention to these things. I would like to know going forward from here that we as a country, what must come out of this Candlelight movement is not only 250,000 signatures. It must be 250,000 people willing to walk from Arima to the parliament. 250,000 strong. And when we reach there and we hand them the petition, we tell them, this is what you must do. This is what we want done. And they will understand that the people of Trinidad and Tobago have woken up and will not be accepting nonsense anymore. That's the purpose of the Candlelight movement. There must be no more grieving parents like that again. No more. That's the mission. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Philip. You know, after Mr. Munesa spoke, I felt like there was almost nothing I could say here tonight. The kind of heartbreak that families in this country are going through. And you know what gets me? The fact that we have normalized that kind of pain and trauma. How is it that nothing was done when his daughter was killed? There were no marches. You know, when there's a murder, we always treat it as just one more. When there's a rape, we always just treat it as one more. But we fail to realize that the level of trauma and brokenness that family is feeling, that cannot be normal. There has been I shouldn't say so much opposition, but there has been opposition for what we are doing. And for the life of me, I can't understand the thinking of anyone who would think that politics would trump humanity. Because at the end of the day, what we are here for, what the Candlelight movement has been doing, has been trying to unify this country, trying to bring this country together, to support us as we ask our parliamentarians, the government and the opposition, the people who we pay every single month to sit down in a place that we paid for to do their jobs. And what is more important than protecting our women and our girls and our citizens? And we have been attacked. We have been attacked and we've been told that this is political, or that this is anti-government, or that this is anti-opposition. How the hell can demanding a safer country, a country where there are no more Candice Rileys or Randolph Barrett or Mr. Munesa or the countless other grieving families that we have had to interact with for the last 2 weeks, how could that possibly be political? How could demanding a safer country where our women can go about their daily lives? You could jump in a taxi, you don't have to worry that the man going to carry you to a repo and rape you and leave you to decompose and hope that they find your bones. How have we normalized this kind of crap in this country? Because politicians continue to divide us based on BS like race. But at the end of the day, when you look at the victims of crime, when you look at Ashanti and Andrea and Adina and all the women and girls that are slaughtered almost on a daily basis, how could anybody justify saying that this is about race or politics? Are we so broken as a society that you want a martyr of a particular race before you decide to feel like it's a worthy cause? You don't know. None of us here should even put ourselves or begin to put ourselves in the position of Randall or Candice or Mr. Munesa or anyone else who have had to live a life where their daughters have been brutally murdered or raped. Because rape, even if you're not murdered, rape ruins your entire life. You are broken for your entire life. Yet that is every single day in this country. And you read the newspaper articles and it's just one more. How could one more life that is snatched away by the level of criminality that we have in this country be okay? Why is it that every single citizen in this country can't put aside whatever BS ideals we have been fed for decades and just say, you know what, let's do this because we want our girls to be able to go about their daily lives without us having to call them? And if you don't get them on the phone, you have to panic because you instantly think about Andrea or Ashanti. How is that normal? What we do, what the Candlelight movement do, I don't know if we make it look easy, but the last few weeks has been far from easy for any one of us who has been pushing this petition, who has been having events, who has been sometimes having to explain to people over and over why this is important. When for the life of me, I cannot understand why a safer country is something that you have to explain to people. I can't understand why you have to tell people, you know what, this is not about Philip Alexander, or this is not about Candice Barrett. This is about Andrea, Ashanti, Asami, Sean Luke, Akil Chambers, Marissa Munesa, every single citizen who have lost their lives when it should never have happened. Is it that people can't put aside personalities, put aside shooting the messenger, and just accept the message? The message at the end of the day is we are here to demand a better country, a safer country, where parents don't have to be paranoid. You know how many parents I speak to who are on their way out of this country because they feel that they cannot protect their little children. They cannot protect their girls. They cannot protect their boys because crime in this country does not discriminate. And unless maybe you are the daughter or son or close family member of a parliamentarian, or you can afford to have a bodyguard, you will quite possibly, the odds are that you might end up in a body bag, or they may never even find your body. I'd like to say to every single person who is here, who's listening, who's watching us on the live, who has been pounding the streets and the pavements and their communities and the malls, that we owe you such a debt. Because sometimes people call us and they're like, they went around malls or went around their communities and got 100 signatures or 700 signatures. And sometimes I can't understand why it is that people are so excited about what we are doing. And then I realized that, you know what? People see what we are doing as giving them and giving this country a sense of hope. Because I will tell you, when Andrea and Ashanti and so many other women I read about being slaughtered and raped and violated and brutalized, I felt hopeless. And when I got the opportunity to be part of this movement, after attending vigils and after so many of us called for people to just, for once, not to forget, not to let it go a week or 9 days and just go back about your life as if this is normal. When I got the opportunity to do this, I absolutely did not have to think about it, because at the end of the day, for once in my life, I felt hope. I felt that I and we and the unity that Andrea's death brought to this country finally made me feel like, you know what? Some people, for once, could put aside who you vote for or the lies that politicians tell you that you have to promote something of your own race. And I realized that that healing that came out of Andrea's death, which was just the tipping point, which was us saying that we are completely fed up of living the kind of life that we live in this country and demand better. That is what this entire thing is about. And for once, we are holding the parliamentarians accountable. And we are saying, you know what? You have to do better, because this situation cannot continue. And we know that the 5 things that we are demanding by our petition is by no means going to cure every single evil in society. But if we could prevent one more Andrea, or one more Ashanti, or one more Randolph Barrett, or one more Mr. Munisa, or one more Candace Riley, to me, every single thing that I have done in the last month of my life would have been worth it. I thank you so much to everyone here, everyone supporting those who could not be here, because for some reason, vigils seem to be the cause of coronavirus. I thank everyone for your support. I thank everyone who has signed the petition and who continues to demand better for this country. Have a good night.
Good night, Arima. Philippa, fix my own mic, eh? No more prima donna thing. So, it's a pleasure to be here in Arima, amongst the Arimians. And, well, my name is Stefan Rees from Synergy TV, for those of you who don't know. And I'm here tonight, proudly, wearing a Candlelight movement jersey, because I truly believe that it is time that we stand up for something. If anything else, or if not anything else, this. Crime. Violence against women. I woke up this morning, and I usually pick up the Newsday. And I go to work and I do a whole segment for the Newsday where I go through all the stories. Front page of the Newsday this morning. Golden Grove Prison has no security alarm system. A maximum security prison do have an alarm system, a security alarm system since 2012. But they're serious about crime. Later down in the day, you all would have seen it on social media. Prisoner escapes from Golden Grove prison. As fate would have it. The same prison that they don't have a security alarm system. Since 2012. But they're serious about crime. You want me to tell you why that was allowed to happen from 2012 to now? Because every day pass, nobody can talk about it, nobody can make it an issue. So you know what? We go allocate X amount of billions of funds to the Ministry of National Security from 2012, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. All they could go back, I didn't have time to do it. Check how much money the Ministry of National Security got between 2012 and now. And you telling me they couldn't install a security system with an alarm in a prison? That's what we're living in. That's the insanity we're living in. Ask a man today. He was hesitant about signing the petition that we have before the nation right now. He said, Stefan, I want to sign that, you know. I say, I believe in God. Yeah, I just went there. I say, I believe in God. He said, of course I believe in God. I said, well, if you believe in God, then you believe in honesty. Then you believe in love. And you believe in justice. He said, well, of course. I said, well, if you don't put pen to paper here, you trying to tell me that you rather live in a country filled with hate, dishonesty, and injustice. He said, where the pen? I say, thanks. Because that's what it is. That's what it is. So the people that want to look at this a different way, if you want to look at this a different way, and you want to breaks because of your political preference, let me tell you something. You don't think it's time you put yourself first? Because the more you're divided by red and yellow, and you want to bat for your team, and you keep putting them first, you automatically run last. You want me to tell you what I know we run last? Let me tell you what I know we run last. A couple days ago, a man got in an accident. He hit a pothole. The car went out of control, crashed, and he dead. Condolences to his family. I get a video today with the same pothole, and they're fixing it. So a man that are dead before they could fix a pothole. Only think that right? Oh, that could be right. Oh, that could be right. You think the pothole was there the day he got in the accident and died? You think that's when the pothole appeared? The pothole there for a long while now. If you ask the residents in the area, they say, boy, we fed up call to get it fixed. Nobody can come to fix it. A man hit it, crashed, dead. They send somebody the next day to fix it. You know why? They wanted to look like they walk in. But we know they ain't walking. But we come to work. Philip, how you say? Sign we up? Right. But we're not here for political office. We're here because we believe that we have reached a stage in Trinidad and Tobago where we have to say, no more. No more Shannon Banfields. No more Ashanti Rileys. No more Andrea Barratts. No more. No more Sean Luke. No more Akil Chambers. No more. We have to stop that. We have to do something. Because the next Sean Luke could be your child. The next Andrea Barrett could be your daughter. And then you know what's going to happen? Then you will know how everybody else feels. And when I say everybody else, I'm talking about the victim's family. I met Sean Luke's mother last week at Baraka Grounds. She didn't have to say a word. Tears in her eyes. Felicia Holder was standing next to her. I think Jody was on the other side. And everybody had tears in their eyes. You know why? You know why? Pain. The pain that that lady has to endure on a daily basis. None of us could understand that really and truly. Sean Luke's matter is now before the court, well, the pre-trial going on. After 15 years, 15. You know what Sean Luke's mother had to endure? She had to endure the loss of her son at the hands of evil people. Then she had to endure 15 years of dealing with that on a daily basis. That tragedy, that trauma, that crime. 15 years. 15 years. All you know is 15 years? I on TV 7 years. So double that. 15 years, man. And that is why we're calling for a commission of inquiry into the criminal justice system. It does not work. It doesn't work because they don't want it to work. Because crime has become the big business in town. The big business in town is crime. It is designed for them. All I never wonder how come no big boy or no big woman out here does make a jail. How come? How come? How? Because money talk and everything else work? That ends now. No more that. It has to stop. And I'm telling you all, when you don't get water, that is not acceptable. Because you live on an island surrounded by it. When every minute your car had to go by the shop for the chassis to fix, or for the mount to change, or whatever parts in the car, the shocks, wherever, it's because you don't have good roads. But you have a pitch lake. All you understand where I'm coming from? We hear him talk about parallel healthcare system, parallel healthcare system, parallel healthcare system. But a lady come to me the other day with a back pain. She says, Stefan, you know, anybody in Mount Hope could help me? I make a call, I send it to somebody. You know what I tell her in Mount Hope? She could have barely walk. She had to get a car to pick up and take her to Mount Hope. She live in Arima. She from right up here. You know what I tell her? They say, come back in 6 months. What's she supposed to do with the back pain? Send it on vacation? Don't work so. That is failure. That is failure. Our job and your job, with your strength, because we're here for you, is to pressure the people that are in charge. And when we say the people that are in charge, let me don't mince no meat on this one. We're talking about everybody. You know, the old saying for the last year, we are all in this together. They all in it together. And I'll give you a perfect example of how they all in it together. The Minister of Finance came out a couple of weeks ago. Here we say, he said we do have money for salary negotiations for public servants, increases that they're waiting on since 2013. He said we do have money to give public servants their back pay. He said we could barely pay salaries and we had to borrow. And this is why I'm telling you, it is all of them. At no point in time from then since now has either the opposition or the government of Trinidad and Tobago come to the parliament with a motion to take a pay cut. At no point in time since that statement has any one of them come to the parliament to say we have to relook the tax exemptions on the vehicles we enjoy. What does that tell you? Thank you. A man say it in front here. Self-service. Well, you know they say self-praise is no praise. Well, self-service is no service at all. Failure. I hear a man on TV the other day talking, a petition, what petition go do? Say, all right. Let me tell you what petition will do. That petition signed by 100,000 or more citizens of Trinidad and Tobago is power. Don't let nobody fool you. When that petition with those 100,000 signatures are delivered, that is phase 1. We don't want to get into phase 2 yet. We don't want no eyebrow raise and no hands to bite nobody and they get jumpy. But this is phase 1. Phase 1 is you exercising your power with the pen. And once you exercise your power with that pen, we will exercise our power with pressure. They must act. They cannot look 100,000 signatures or people. Remember, those signatures are people, eh? Those signatures are you and me. And if they are to turn us down with a statement like that, well, then there are phase 2 coming. I kid you not, you know. Be very serious about this, you know. Be very serious about this. And I'm glad that we're in Arima. Because something wrong with that taxi stand. Something wrong with that taxi stand. And what we had to do, people, this is part of the solution too. We have to start looking out and caring for each other. The person next to you, your neighbor. You have to start to open your mouth. When you see something, say something. Look after your sister, look after your brother. We have to do that. We have to have each other's back. Because obviously, the people appointed to have it do have it. But we'll get there in shorter time than you think. They already started to talk about pepper spray. We ain't getting tired with our old talk. We know sweet talk when we hear it. The Minister of Transport gone talking to taxi drivers, the H cars, pretending like he's doing something, but here him at the end now, well, it's a complicated process. Well, I want to tell Rohan Sinanan, we could uncomplicate it for you. If it's complicated for you, it ain't complicated for us. We have enough ideas and solutions from various people, from several people, several corners, how to solve that problem. So don't pretend like all you can solve it. The time for pretending done. And the time for action is here. So Arima, the petition out, get it signed, encourage people to sign. Let me just stick on this one. Let us make a statement together. Together. With no underlying agenda. Crime, violence against women have to stop. And that is part 1. You know Fast and Furious have about 10 parts? That's part 1. Stay tuned. Part 2 coming and they're turning you. Until again, out.
Good evening, Arima. Good evening to all of our friends on the Facebook, our brothers, our sisters in the struggle, those of us who enough is not just a cliche. There are so many things that have painfully brought us to this place and this space. I see parents here dealing with pain that is unimaginable. Pain that we could never even conceptualize if it hasn't happened to us. My sister, my comrade, and I'm using the word comrade very calculatedly, very deliberately, from when I saw a man, Mr. Clive Nunes, at the vigil at the Woodford Square. Comrades are people who stand side by side and they fight for a cause. And we are here today standing for a cause. A better Trinidad and Tobago. A safer Trinidad and Tobago. This is what we want. This is what we have not had. And this is not where we want to remain. I do not want to live in a society, I don't know about you, but I don't only want to be able to tell my daughter that once upon a time, Trinidad was a good place. I don't want to just tell my daughter some kind of thing that is so far out, so far-fetched from her reality of how it used to be when I was a little girl. I am 50 years old, and when I tell my daughter I used to actually run around in the back road at 8 years old in my panty when I come from school with my socks and my shoes, she thinks mommy gone mad. Because nobody in their right mind will do that. And it was just cool. It was a cool scene. That's just how it was in the ghetto. You know, you take off your school clothes, you run around until you get a little bigger, a little chest. Many people have been asking the question, how did we get here? That is a very complicated question that we might never be able to answer in its entirety. But the question we need to ask is, how do we go from here? What are we willing to do to go from here? The people, the powers that be, who understand the power of the collectives, they are the one that is selling the narrative, hoping that you drink the Kool-Aid, that your one signature won't make a difference. These same people who come at election times and tell us that our one vote will make a difference. But now, when I'm standing up to tell all you to do what all you make me sign for and dance for, to put all you to do, all of a sudden, my one vote ain't important. My signature, not important. How I feel, not important. And I hope you're listening to what they're not saying to us. I hope you're listening to the unsaid message, and it is always critical. Communication is verbal and non-verbal. And I have come to realize in my 50 years, it's not so much people saying, it's what they're not saying. And if since February, we could be lighting candle and walking here and going here and doing this and doing that, and the powers that be has only seen it fit to dazzle us with semblance of what we want and not even come down directly to address the people. It says to you how they see us. And I don't know about you, but I listen. I paying attention. These people do not care about us. I remember some time ago, and it's not just this regime, it is a systematic disrespect from 1956. Regimes come, regimes go, because they don't know that the mustard coup, whether it's from Caroni or Laventille, we go put we X by them so they don't care, they could do what they want. There are so many bits of legislation that take eons to pass. But I remember, Philip, when they needed a salary increase. We didn't even know legislation could have passed so quick. When the procurement matter. So what are they saying to us? What is important to them? That is where they're going to put their interests. And I swear to God, let's have a boys' club. In my little mind, with my bare secondary education, I say, Avi, when is election time? They come on the pulpit, yeah, the platform, and somebody will say, we are files. And the sheeple will say, Bust the files, bust the mark, bust the mic. Yeah. Then that party who bust the mark, bust the files, goes into power. I want you to tell me from 1956 to now, how many of our politicians from Tesoro scandal, Stampy Wallace scandal, a man gone Panama with the money. So when you can't get an ultrasound, that the machine, you can get a gun ultrasound machine for 4,500 US. You know what I'm telling you? And you could go to the hospital and you could die because you get an appointment for 6 months. We could go to the airport in Piaco. So I want you to show, I'm showing you both sides. That airport is a disaster, it's a disgusting piece of rubbish. And how much money? Who get jailed for that? Man still running ring and wrong. Listen to me. Let me tell you how we kind of joke in this place and we just laugh. The US people who was charged with the Trinidadian people don't serve their time, you know. We can't even get our people out the country to go on, so because who know who and who serving, who, you know, who have secret for who. So it's a whole boys club. And if we have continued in that vein, where we stay quiet and silent because it's our boys running the show, and I don't want to say it's bad. God forbid, we will continue down the slippery slope. But I'm glad, as I've been saying, as many others have been saying, we are at this moment, people. And we are not going to let it go. You see, when you're pregnant, right? And right now we're pregnant. Well, yeah, my belly looking big, but I'm not pregnant. But this movement is pregnant. It is filled with hope. It is filled with expectation. But you know, you can carry a child for 9 months. And that child, you can have what is called a stillbirth. But I am declaring to the powers that be that the Candlelight movement ain't going to have no stillbirth. If that's what you're thinking. If you think we're going to miscarriage, hell no. We are going to deliver on those signatures. We are going to take the voice of the people and we are going to make a strong statement if you dare continue in that trend of disrespect. The honorables, I honor you. I respect you because that's how my mother bring me up. Even if I don't vote for you, you are the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago. You are the leader of the opposition. I have respect. I will never disrespect you. But I want to know why you're disrespecting me. I want to know why you're disrespecting all the citizens of this country who crying and bawling. I was a woman that had to take taxi. For the first time in my life, I had to sit down, calculate, think. When I jump in my taxi now, and I call my husband, babes, I hear, babes, I reach by the KFC. What is that? You see this narrative, and I want to end with this. If you have bought the politician's Kool-Aid, that we all in the same boat, you're wrong. We are all in the same storm, but we're not in the same boat. Some of us have different kind of boats. You see, the politicians and the financiers, them have gated communities with security guards and bodyguards. We are in the same storm. We are in the same crime-infested country. But we are not in the same sea, but not in the same boat. And we want some sort of equity. We want our concerns to be heard. And that is why we are out here. Sure, Philip had things to do, Stephen had things, Candace, Jody, Felicia, all of the volunteers that have been working so hard throughout Trinidad and Tobago. So you on the Facebook Live, if perchance you have not signed the signature, we want you to come out. Find a place near you. It's everywhere throughout Trinidad and Tobago, somewhere close to you. Pick up a form, pick up a package, and let's do this, and let's surpass that 100,000. God bless you, Trinidad and Tobago.
All right. So I am back up to do the wrap up for this evening. It's already almost 9 o'clock. Yep. 8:51. And Philip asked me to channel Felicia Holder. I don't know. I have to dig very deep for that because I'm so sleepy right now. Like Candace said, for all of you who think that this is easy, it is not. It is a lot of hard work. It is packing up. It is coming to meetings. It's offloading. It's setting up. It's packing back up again, heading back down to the office, meetings, coordinating where is the next event. But as tiring as all of this is, I have no better reason and there's no other justifiable cause to be tired than for the issue that we are championing right now. And I'm watching the car across the road with the sign Andrea on it. I just saw her dad, Daddy Barrett. Good night to you. Good night to all of the victims, families who are here with us tonight. We heard the story of Mariana Munisar, and I mean, I saw her dad shedding tears. And the truth is, Philip said Channel Felicia, the truth is, in all of this, I have personally not really cried that much, and not because all of this isn't sad. All of this is very sad. The first real tears that I shed throughout this Candlelight movement was when I held on to Pauline Lumfi last week. For those who don't know Pauline, I know as Pauline Barrett through Facebook. We've been talking for a couple months, a little over a year. But she goes by, her real name is Pauline Lumfi. I met her last week. That's Sean Luke's mommy. Small but mighty lady. And I held her. And I don't know what it was that overcame me, but I just started to cry. And well, I knew what it is that overcame me. It was all of that hurt and pain that I carried on her behalf, that so many of us carried on her and other victims' behalf, because what happened to her son and what happened to Andrea and what happened to Shanti and what happened to Akil and what happened to Nyasha and what happened to Shannon and what happened to Sammy and what happened to Mariana. It's just heartbreaking. But like I said, I didn't cry that much in the past couple of weeks because more than being sad, I am angry. And Philip came up to me after his speech and he normally asks me, what you thought? Was I too angry? And I said, I don't like when you get upset, but it was fitting. Like, how could you not be angry after you sit down and you listen to Mr. Munisa tell the story of his daughter being shot in the face and him there literally holding her lifeless body? Like, how could you not be angry? And that is what I've mostly felt. Angry, anger, and a sense of relief as well. A sense of relief because after so long, and here he's coming. Sure. Oh, this is perfect. We have Mr. Munisa who came here tonight to talk about his daughter Marianne, and we have the champion of all champions, Mr. Daddy Barrett, Randolph Barrett, who has come to be a symbol of strength for all other families who have lost a loved one. And let's just give them that moment. You're most welcome. From one father to another, From one father who understands the pain of losing a child, your daughter, to another father who lost his daughter as well, both under separate but still very similar circumstances that unite them in their grief. Like I said, I didn't cry much because I'm mostly angry, but there's also that sense of relief. That sense of relief that we as Trinbagonians are standing up for an issue, and we're standing up for issues that make a difference in the lives of people like Mr. Munisar and Mr. Randolph Barrett and Mrs. Riley and Mrs. Lumfi, all of these people whose lives that we're touching, who we are giving an opportunity for the first time in ever, a platform, not only a platform to tell their story, but an active, tangible national petition that can help ease their hurt as well as make life in Trinidad and Tobago better so that no other family has to go through this pain and hurt that these families have had to go through. I would like to thank all of you for coming out here tonight, those of you who braved the COVID-19 restrictions. I know it's just a handful of us. Thank you for understanding that as much as we would like to pour out of the streets, as much as we would like to have thousands of people around us and in our presence and being a part of what we're doing, that unfortunately we have to abide by the guidelines, the COVID-19 guidelines and restrictions that have made public gathering like this difficult or unlawful. And for those who have still made the time to come out, we appreciate you, and we would like to thank you for being a part of this, and we hope to see you at the next event that we have. And we're calling some of the members of the Candlelight movement to the stage. What are you all here to do? Provide?
No. I just, and you all could come forward because I don't know if they might picking it up, but it's important that we say these things. That the purpose of the meetings, these meetings, that video is important. If you have not signed the petition, find the petition and sign the petition. There is information all over social media. If you ask for it, somebody will get the information to you. If you still can't get the information, you could WhatsApp 486-2888 or 471-2888. I pass you on to the other member.
Again, we can't overemphasize the importance of your one making that difference. Not only you, if you're in a house of adults, get a form, take it to your job, take it to your family, help us, let us do this together. So as Philip said, find it and sign it. There are 5 specific things that we have been ventilating over and over that we are asking for, but not limited to it. But in this phase, this is what we're focusing on. So we need your support, and we're doing this.
You know, every time we doubt that our one voice counts, question, why do you vote every 5 years? Because on some level, we believe that there's strength in numbers. Every single signature, every single person has the responsibility to do whatever you can do to make this country a better, safer place. So again, I just want to endorse the message that my colleagues and my committee members and my brothers and sisters have said. Find the petition and sign the petition.
You know, just looking at these 2 fathers tonight is heartbreaking. Some of us can't help but, let the tears flow. This is a perfect example of why we need to sign this petition, because this has to end. It has to end now, right now. We can't deal with this anymore. Too many tears, too much pain. So please, I beg you, go out and sign the petition so we can put an end to this. Thank you.
All right, Arima. So as we get ready to wrap up, if you go to the supermarket, find the petition, sign the petition. You go to church, find the petition, sign the petition. If you have a petition package, get your signatures wherever you go. Get people to sign, encourage people to sign. And remember, after you sign the petition, you could join us on the 9th of April. Put that date down. On the 9th of April, you could either join us in a walk from Arima to Port of Spain to deliver the petition, or for those of you who can't make the walk, you could get yourself into Port of Spain and you could wait for us there on the 9th of April. Only don't forget that. Sign the petition. The petition is your power. Power to you.
All right, so you've heard it from all of them. The petition, sign it. If you've already signed it, bring it in. If you still have to get, you can collect here tonight. Our next pop-up location will be in San Fernando, and we will be announcing exactly where. Please stay tuned to our social media page, the Candlelight Movement, or Philip Edward Alexander fan page, or Breaking Dawn every morning. Jody on the radio, 103.5 from 9 to 12. In Shannon, Breaking Barriers every Wednesday. There's so many places to tune in to get information on this movement. We are continuously keeping you updated. Candice, our PRO, is releasing information into the public space, so please keep looking out. And of course, sign the petition. Thank you very much. And we will be back at our next location next week in San Fernando. Have a good night.